Hi, everybody. My name is Dan Chemotti. I am the head lacrosse coach here at the University of Richmond, going on completing my 8th year already. And I am joined by one of my senior All-American attackmen, Ryan Lanchbury. So we're really happy to be with you here today. Just to talk a little bit about the athletic programs here at Richmond. As you could see from Amanda, the school cares a lot about academics. We like to talk during our recruiting process to student athletes that Richmond offers the best of both worlds. We are academically a small liberal arts college with some really great degree programs, but we're also a school that cares immensely about athletics, and we will show that to you in our facilities momentarily here. Richmond offers about 16 varsity sports. We offer baseball, basketball, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's cross country, field hockey, football, men's and women's golf, men's and women's lacrosse, women's soccer, women's swimming and diving, men's and women's tennis, and women's track and field. And as a athletic department, we compete in 3 different conferences here in the country. Our men's lacrosse program competes in the SoCon. Our football program competes in the CAA. Most of our sports compete in the Atlantic 10 Conference, and then actually our women's golf competes in the Patriot League. So 4 different conferences. We are all Division I sports, so we compete at the highest level against some of the best athletic programs in the country. Facilities wise, I think our facilities, as you can see, the Princeton Review, the same publication that ranked us the #1 most beautiful campus in the country, also ranked us the 7th best athletic facilities in the country for liberal arts schools. And we have a number of great facilities. We're going to show some of those to you in video and virtual tours here in a minute. Here's a great look at the Robins Center. Basketball is the #1 sport here on campus, and I think you can see from this picture why. The basketball team has played at the highest level for the longest period of time, has an incredible facility, and this is just such a great picture for me to talk more about the best of both worlds. Again, the school cares a lot about academics, and it's a small school academically, but it definitely does resemble a small school athletically. When you look at the student spirit, when you look at the support from the community, when you look at the facilities, when you look at how Richmond athletics is able to compete on a national level, you see that it's just we resemble a much larger school. So really unique combination, and a combination that not a lot of schools across the country can brag about to the same extent. Amanda, do we have the ability to play this video? So this video right here, this shows off the lacrosse specific facilities here. This is the Robins Stadium. This is where the football and men's lacrosse teams play. And then we get into some of our other facilities. I'll let the video play rather than me talk. So as you can see, all of those facilities, whether it was the basketball stadium, our lacrosse facilities, are all facilities that a lot of the larger schools across the country tend to offer. So we really like that combination. We think it provides, again, the best of both worlds for our student athletes. Currently in our athletic department, we have 5 Canadian students. We have 2 men's lacrosse athletes on our team. We have 2 men's basketball athletes, and then we have a golfer on the women's side who are Canadian athletes. In terms of academic support is very important for all of our athletes, and we have a whole team of academic advisors in the athletic department that work amongst all the different teams. So a gentleman who heads up that whole department, he's the associate athletic director for academics. He works specific with our team. His name is Bruce Matthews. So I might reference him, as I'm describing some of these support programs. So Bruce is a gentleman. He's been here for about 17 years. He has a tremendous relationship with the professors here on campus, and the small classroom setting is a tremendous advantage from our standpoint, from an academic support standpoint. The ability for our young men and women to develop relationships with the professors is second to none. With an average class size of 16 students, there's going to be a lot of accountability and attention and participation in the classes here at Richmond, and the ability to get to know your professors. We think in a very real time setting that our young men are able to be looked after. We don't have to wait until a midterm report comes out to find out if there are any struggles academically that any of our guys are having because of those small classes and the relationships that the professors have with the academic advisors here in the athletic department. Some of the specific programs that we offer priority registration, and what that means is our athletes are going to register for classes prior to the general student population in their respective classes. We also offer professional tutors that are readily available for the student athletes in a wide range of topics. We have writing consultants. So if your classes or your major involves more papers, rather than tests, then we have individuals that our athletes can sit down with to help them organize their thoughts into a well thought out paper. We require about 6 hours of study hall a week from our guys, which, and that's for all freshmen and anyone with underneath a certain grade point average. And, we usually joke, if you're only studying 6 hours a week at Richmond, you're probably going to find yourself in study hall for all 4 years because of the strength of the academics here. But it's just a way to get our guys started off on the right foot and help teach them the importance of time management. And we do offer accommodations for any students out there with some learning disabilities. We have a variety of different accommodations, whether it's different spaces to take tests or untimed tests. We offer some very specific accommodations because we have a 4-semester equivalent foreign language requirement. But again, the major advantage of being in the small classrooms is it gives any students with learning disabilities the ability to advocate for themselves. In the picture here on this slide, you can see the most recent facility here in athletics that, and as you can see with some workers up on ladders, is still being completed. It should be opening in the next week or so. And this is an academic support center for the student athletes, which I haven't even been in this building yet, but we are really excited for its grand opening, which is going to be very soon here. So this will serve as the center for the student athletes to come and meet with tutors or work in groups or meet with writing consultants, and all of the academic advisors are going to be in this facility. It's located right next to the majority of the athletic facilities here, so very centrally located and convenient for them as well. I am going to turn it over to, before we talk about the recruiting process and contacting coaches and athletic scholarships, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan Lanchbury to talk about his experience at the University of Richmond.
Hey guys, so yeah, I'm Ryan Lanchbury. I'm from Burlington, Ontario, Canada, so just outside Toronto, for anybody who doesn't know. So I'm a senior here, as Coach mentioned. I'm a finance major, and yeah, I play on the lacrosse team. So my journey to get here was a little different. Being a student athlete, I went to Avon Old Farms, which is a boarding school in Connecticut, and I was recruited to come play lacrosse here. I committed actually 6 years ago yesterday, so just a couple months into my sophomore year. So I did have a pretty good sense that I was going to come to Richmond, which made my application process just a little bit easier than most students. But the process in general was fairly easy because Richmond has great resources in terms of the application process. They answer questions really easily. So I found it very easy to apply, get my SAT scores in, all my high school transcripts, my recommendation, and finish their application process with the essay, which was for me the toughest part of the application process. They asked a pretty arbitrary question, which was, it was just tell me about spiders. So you could kind of take that in any direction you wanted. You had to get creative. I ended up writing 3 different essays and giving them to my college advisor and having him kind of look them over and get a sense of which one was the best, which one I should submit. So once I got to Richmond, I had a pretty good idea that I wanted to join the Robins School of Business. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do within business in terms of my major, but the advantage of the liberal arts program is that you kind of have to take a plethora of classes within the school and get a sense of what's the best fit for you. So I had to take, marketing, economics, accounting, statistics, finance prerequisites, and attain a certain GPA. And then once I finished all those with a certain GPA, I was able to pick my major. And so I'm a finance major. It's been a little bit difficult, but it's very rewarding and it's something I really enjoy doing. So on top of being a student athlete, being a finance major at the Robins School of Business is no easy feat. Yeah, it requires a lot of work and dedication, but that's something that Richmond does a really good job of, which Coach has mentioned. There's a lot of resources from the academic and athletic standpoint, which helps make my days a little easier. So over the course of my 4 years, I have struggled in classes before where I needed tutors, and they're readily available. I just email the academic advisor for our team, and within about 24 hours, I will have a tutor with a full tutoring schedule. So that is very nice. As Coach mentioned, there are study hall hours, and the best part about those is within those 6 hours a week, for all 6 hours, there are writing consultants and tutors in the actual building where you have to do the study hall. So I remember my freshman year, we had it every day around 7:00, and I would go in, and right away I would just go to one of the tutors for accounting or economics and get help right there one-on-one, which makes it a little easier as a student athlete because a lot of times you have 4 hours of practice and film and lifts and different stuff throughout the day. So it has been very nice to go somewhere where you can get one-on-one help outside of class. So that has been a huge part of my success at Richmond, is just having the resources available as a student athlete to make sure that I am performing well in the classroom and not just on the field. In terms of a day in the life as a student athlete at Richmond, I normally wake up in the morning and I get over to campus a little early before my 9 a.m. classes to get some food. Then I'll have a few hours of classes. I normally have 2 classes a day, depending on the day. And then it's right to lunch. Then the afternoon is normally blocked off for, depending on the time of year we're in. So in season, we're 20 hours a week. Out of season, we're 8. So depending on that, I normally have a few hours in the afternoon that are dedicated towards film sessions, lifts, runs, agility, strength sessions, and then practice. So it's pretty busy and tiresome, but afterwards you grab a quick bite to eat for dinner, and then it's pretty much back to my house. I'm off campus, where I spend a ton of time doing some work, especially this year as a senior. Being in those upper level finance classes, I've spent a lot of time studying this year and using the tutors so that I'm not falling behind, and that I can finish strongly here in my senior year. So that's pretty much a day in the life as a Richmond lacrosse student, especially. I speak from that perspective, but in general, it just requires a lot of dedication in terms of your athletic and academic success.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. I know Coach Chemotti has a few more points he'd like to do an overview of the recruiting process, and then we will be wrapping it up for the University of Richmond.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Amanda. So just to talk about the promoting yourself a little bit, I think it's really important that you focus on a few very specific things. Number one, I would encourage everyone to be very thorough. You can imagine maybe you can or you can't imagine the number of emails, phone calls that I get on a weekly basis. Young men who want to come and play lacrosse here. I would be embarrassed to tell you how many unread emails I have right now. But it's probably thousands a week of young men are reaching out to express interest in the University of Richmond. And certainly, we go through all of those in as many as we can. And I'm well aware that young men who are reaching out to us are also reaching out to other universities. I would be very thorough when you're addressing that email. Make sure it says the name of the coach who you are emailing, and not the name of another school's coach when you are emailing that out. So that's going to be a first impression that you certainly want to make the most of. I can also tell you, when people email me and say they want to come to Richmond University, well, I coach at the University of Richmond. That is also really important as well. So you're just going to want to be thorough and make sure that you've done research and really taken the time to make a great first impression, because with so many young men advocating for themselves, you certainly don't want to you want to have that great first impression. So that's number one, is to be thorough. Number two, I would just say be very patient, okay, with all of the emails and phone calls that we get about all these amazing young men. It's hard to get back to everybody to the same level. So be really patient and understand that if you send an email, all right, it was received, and maybe that coach just doesn't know who you are, but they're going to take the time to get to know you before just sending you off just a quick reply. So I'd say be patient, in the process as well, and don't be afraid to continue to communicate would be my third point. So when you're playing in different events and you get certain videos, typically those videos are sent off, and I would encourage it. Maybe the coach hasn't gotten back to you after your first email or your second email. Don't be afraid to continue to email, okay? Because you understand it just they receive a lot of communication. Include highlight videos, include the position that you play. We get plenty of emails where they tell us a lot about themselves. They don't tell us what position they play. They don't tell us what number they are in the video, and they don't tell us what their high school what high school team they play for. So be really good about including as much information as possible, as well as your academics, because that right there, that's going to be a determining factor for a lot of young men and young women in the process as well. So being able, if you can include a transcript, a midterm report, something like that, an SAT, an ACT score, that's going to be really, really helpful, because that, again, that's probably the number one piece that we use to cut our list down. So Other than that, I think it's important that you use your other resources around you, your coaches, to help get your name in front of coaches as well, because that's sometimes all it takes. Because when you're getting thousands of emails a week, but a coach who you might be familiar with calls you up, I'm going to be more receptive to that coach who I know than to 1,000 emails, for young men who I don't know. So I would use those people, really, a lot as well. So in terms of athletic scholarships, so athletic scholarships are, it's a very, for men's lacrosse, it's a very unique process. So the most fully funded lacrosse programs in the country offer 12.6 scholarships. On our team, we keep a roster of about 48 young men. So splitting up 12.6 scholarships to 48 young men is not an easy task. Certainly athletic scholarships are not created equal. And some sports are different. Football and basketball probably operate a little bit differently than the other sports, but that's if a scholarship equals a full cost of attendance, and we get 12 of those and we have 48, that can be really really a stressful process on both ends. But we work really hard to do as best we can. Thankfully, Richmond has incredible need-based financial aid, and we really take full advantage of that, as do our student athletes and their families. But that's just what the scholarship picture looks like. Very rarely do we give out, if ever, full scholarships. So if somebody's telling you they're getting a full scholarship to go play, that's usually it might not be the case. Again, basketball and football are going to be a little bit different, but just keep that in mind as well. So in terms of visiting, and Amanda mentioned it earlier, Richmond does have incredible virtual visits on their website. We use them in our recruiting process all the time, and I would certainly recommend using those. As beautiful as this place is, and she mentioned we were the #1 most beautiful campus in the country. As beautiful as it does look on a computer screen, I can tell you it's no match for being here in person. It is 1,000 times greater in person than it is on a computer screen, but it's still going to stand out quite a bit on the computer screen to you. So thank you guys for having us, and I hope you enjoyed learning about the University of Richmond.